everybody, Shawn here. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Revv Amps Dynamis 740. It's a 2-channel all-tube amplifier, 6v6 back end. It's called the 740 because you can choose between two power settings, either 7 watts or 40 watts, and that can be programmable on either channel. So it's got a clean channel and a dirty channel, or channel 1, channel 2. Let's just go ahead and start with the clean channel set in the most basic way, and I'll just kind of go through the settings on that channel, and then we'll go to the red channel as well. Now I'm going to do everything at the front of the amp, but this can all be done via the foot switch, which is really slick for this amp. Okay, so here's the clean tone, channel 1. Really sweet, Fendery clean. Now as you can see, you've got treble, middle, bass, volume, and reverb. So the way it's dialed right now, I would say I have it dialed a little bit warmer, kind of neck position, strat thing. But we could, by turning on the bright switch, get it a little bit more chimey, so check it out. So if you want that real chimey top end, you can do it. And of course, if that created a little too much top, then you can always back the treble down a little bit. And it can almost get a little bit, almost kind of more of a scooped sound, but still have the sweet top end. Add more bass. Now, let's check out the reverb real quick. The reverb's pretty slick on this. Can be programmed on either channel, and you can choose between 3 different reverb lengths, or I guess depth settings. And of course, the reverb level can be set per channel. So let's just check out the verb. I'll go ahead and just leave the bright switch on. So here's the reverb in the first depth setting. So it'll be the shortest setting. Now here's the second depth setting. It's going to be a little bit longer. And then here's the third one. So that's the longest. And once again, you can program that on either channel, and either depth setting can be preset. So I'll go ahead and put that back to the shortest, and we'll go ahead and shut it off. Now, one thing I want to show you really quick is the 7 watt to 40 watt setting is really cool. So say we're on the clean channel, and that's really efficient. I mean, it's pretty darn clean. Now you could go even cleaner if you wanted by going into the low input, but I'm going to stay in the normal setting, normal input. Now what you can do is you can go to 7 watts. So obviously that's much quieter, but we could go ahead and dime the volume, and now what we're getting is a little bit more power amp breakup. I mean, there's some preamp breakup there, but at that setting, you get quite a bit more of that power tube kind of saturation. And once again, you can do that per channel. So you could want your first channel to be really, really clean and efficient, and take pedals really well, and this guy certainly does take pedals like a champ. Here, I'll just turn one on real quick. It's just an overdrive pedal. So you can say, I want this pristine clean, maybe an overdrive pedal to the second channel, which is going to be all my higher gain settings, more my just amp overdrive settings. Okay, so that's the clean channel. I don't think I missed anything on there. Let's go ahead and switch to channel 2, and we'll check that out. Now I can just do it at the front end of the amp, or as I said, you can do it with a foot switch as well. Okay, so here's channel 2. This is the lowest gain setting. Gets pretty barky and really great for rhythm tones. You can roll some low end into it, or even roll the mids all the way up. So on this you have a gain setting as well as a volume, so you can balance the two channels obviously with the volume controls. Okay, so let's check out, let's just look at the dynamic setting really quick. Like right now we're in the lowest dynamic setting. There's two more that are going to basically raise the gain levels. So without changing any settings, let's just check it out. So more gain there. Now obviously with those three gain settings, those dynamic settings, you can still kind of adjust minutely, or I should say finely, with the gain control. So say you like the blue setting, but you just want a little more gain than that. Then you can go ahead and roll the gain into it. Or if you like the red setting, say that's too much gain. Sorry about the hum, I got my guitar right next to the amp. We can turn the gain down. So you've got a ton of variables there with dialing between the gain, treble, middle, bass, and then of course your volume. And same thing, we can turn the reverb on for this channel if we wish. Okay, so that's the dynamic setting. We're going to shut the reverb back off. Now what I'll show you is the contour setting, and basically all that's doing is it's just going to raise your mid voice, basically shelve it up a bit. So check it out. So it's a little bit tighter and a little bit slightly brighter, and maybe even just a little more kind of 3D sounding. Now the other thing we can do in this channel is the same trick. We could go from, say, our clean wide open 40 watts. But then say we want to go to the 7 watt setting on the second channel. So we could go to the second channel and choose 7 watts and then turn up the volume and have kind of that more power amp kind of saturation now. has that more kind of amp ready to detonate thing, but you can still go right back to a totally clean setting. I just did it on the foot switch, but you can do it on the amp as well. Dead clean channel to the dirty channel at 7 watt. So you've just got a ton of variables that you could choose to take advantage of on this amp. Now the other thing I need to point out just real quick is the effects loop, and that's bypassable. So just so you can hear it, I just threw my timeline, my Strymon timeline into it, and that's bypassable from the foot switch. So check it out, the timeline's off. You can turn it on. And I can shut it back off. And then here's it back on. Yeah, and I had zero problem dialing into the effects loop. I basically just plugged it in. There's a send level on there. I made sure everything was basically unity and made sure I wasn't actually overdriving the Strymon, and it sounded great. So yeah, it's just a crazy versatile amp, and the one thing that I don't think you can do from the amp, unless I've missed something, is the solo setting. So in this case, you can do it on the clean channel or the drive channel, but I'll just show you real quick. We'll go to like a solo setting. So say that's kind of your dialed in. That's kind of your dialed in solo, but you want to bump it, you can hit the solo switch. Now I've got it set pretty extreme, but we could back that off. There's a control on the back of the amp that allows you to do that. There we go, I backed it off so it wouldn't be so extreme. But that's really great if you just want to be able to, bump up above the band to take a solo without necessarily creating more gain. It's just more volume. So yeah, this is just a really versatile amp, great channel switching amplifier, sounds natural, killer reverb, 6v6 tubes. I'm a big fan of 6v6 power tubes. Yeah, I don't think I've missed anything else on this amp. You can use that foot switch programmably if you wish, which is awesome. So in other words, you can have it in what would be considered like a direct mode, just to switch the amp, or you can actually use it more as a MIDI switch where you could totally program every single switch. There's 6 switches on it to be a preset, in a preset mode on the amp, and it's really simple to do that as well. And this amp does have a MIDI in on it, so that's pretty cool. Programmability, once again, if you're into just using all your MIDI stuff, you're good to go on this amp. So man, that concludes this demo. Thanks as always for tuning in, and I'll have more demos for you soon. Thanks guys.